Hey folks, so we're back today. We're going to be doing a review of the WE XM177. Now, there's not a whole lot of reviews out there for this particular gun, but there are plenty for the M4, but they are really no different from the M4 except for some minor cosmetic issues. So I'm not going to be focusing too much on the stuff that's already covered, but I'm going to try to do something a little bit new, and just to give a little bit more in-depth detail about this gun here. Now, before we do this, of course, safety check. So take out the mag, get rid of the round. Alrighty, so let's start with this gun. So looks pretty good, I think. You know, compared to an AEG, I had some JG before. AEG and the plastic body. So this is nice to have a change for having an actual metal upper and lower receiver, and pretty much metal where the real gun should be. You'll notice that the receiver is blank, and it's definitely been scratched up because I used some sandpaper to shave it down. Obviously, when you get it, it's going to be a lot more matted black for this gun. I personally like that kind of look, worn look. I think I kind of overdid it a little bit with the sandpaper, but that's probably should have used lighter steel wool rather than the heavy grade sandpaper I used. All right, but anyway. So let's see here, but it looks really solid. I am a huge fan of the thinner foregrips that you'll see on the XM177s than compared to the M4. The M4 grips are just a lot thicker, and these are just, to me, a lot more comfortable to hold. So that's kind of cool. They also come, of course, with the internal heat shields, which you'll see right there is very reflective. Well, you probably can't see that much there, but they're in there, and there's heat shielding on the mock heat shieldings on the inside, which is really good. Of course, that's a gas tube up there. Now it's kind of interesting because I bought this off e-bike, and it's funny is when I first bought it, it came with a birdcage flash hider that really only extended out to about here. And so literally, this inner barrel was sticking out. So I called them and emailed them about that, and they decided to ship me the flash hider that's supposed to go with the XM177. So I changed that, and I literally took a flame and melted off the barrel or the flash hider because it was plastic. Melted that off and pulled it off, and then attached this here. Now, for the rest of the video, I'll leave this on, but I just wanted to tell you all about that. I doubt that should happen. If that happens, call them and they'll help you out with that. Now, some versions you'll notice, the earlier versions of the XM, they'll come with about this little 1 inch or 1.5 inch barrel extension right here. What happens, you'll see that this flash hider will attach straight to nearly the sight post right here, front sight post right here. But most versions now really just come with this 1/2 inch air barrel extension there, which you can actually, by the way, remove, spin off right there. So if you notice, there is a line right there, and this can be taken off. Of course, you have to take out the stake at the bottom. There's a pin down there. So you'll notice right here, there's a pin that stakes it in there. So you can take that off if you wanted to. Alright, so that's just the looks of the gun. Metal right here, some kind of cheaper metal here, same material, cheaper metal here. Plastic handguards, of course, sling mounts sling mounts metal, upper and lower receiver metal, bolt stop metal, plastic, polymer hand grip. Trigger is, I believe that's, I want to say that's plastic, to be honest with you, but it's pretty durable. Of course, your stock tube itself is plastic. It's not like the real one where it's coated in the inside, it's metal. And then, of course, metal buffer tube and metal castle nut. All right, charging handle, of course, metal, with the bolt being metal on the inside. So anyway, those are the contents on the outside. Reliability, this is the only gas blow that I've ever had, and so it's hard for me to really say, but for the most part, I think it's not too bad. I've had some issues where this gun, when it fires on full auto, I've noticed that if you look on the inside, basically if you look on the inside, if you fire it a lot, I can't really show it, but basically the way I'll describe it is that the BBs get stuck or it falls off the loading ramp and it gets caught in one of the grooves inside the gun, and the bullet just slams in there, and the BB gets smashed up, literally gets smashed up and jammed in there, and it becomes very difficult to remove. It also prevents, obviously, since the BBs are smashed in there, it prevents the bolt from fully setting or returning to home. So it might be sticking out like this, and it's just very difficult to take the gun apart without any modification. So that's one issue I've noticed. But again, it's not too frequent, but it is enough to happen to be can be a problem. Fired about roughly, I want to say close to 2,000 rounds with this gun, and I can tell you, gas blowback rifles, they wear out quickly. Mainly the bolt stop. So usually when you fire, once you're out of ammo, the magazine should engage the bolt stop, and it should lock the bolt back as so, which it is right now. But unfortunately on mine, the bolt stop has worn out by this point. After about, I want to say literally about 600, 700 rounds, it's worn out. It wears out, and it doesn't lock back anymore. The gun still functions, everything is fine, but it's you need to replace the bolt, essentially. Now, interesting thing to mention, though, is that when I first got this, the bolt stop really didn't work. These are the magazines, the 20-round Vietnam-style magazine that it comes with. I tried to make sure, I definitely know this thing was open. I tried firing with this. I tried getting a new mag, and the bullets just didn't really want to lock back. So I gave up on that. I tried different strategies. I tried doing the whole inserting a AEG shimming right in there to help increase the wobble on that gun, but that didn't really help. Eventually, for some reason, the problem fixed itself, but then it broke down again. So because it got worn out. And what I mean by that, and there's another video where I'm trying to fix it, but let me show you. Basically, what happens is that in order for the bolt to really catch, it needs to latch on. Let me do it this way so you can see better. It needs to latch on, the bolt catch needs to latch on that part right there. But as you can see, it's pretty shaved off. It's supposed to be a perfect straight line, but obviously it's been worn down because I've used it quite a bit. Now, this part is also the part that, basically the bolt is the part that gets damaged or needs to be replaced most frequently. The bolt head itself, or the bolt face, I guess is what the real term is called, they try to make it look just like the AR-15 bolt in real life, and you don't really necessarily need all these. The bolt face right here, as you can see, mine broke off on the edge right in the side right here, but it still functions. The only thing that you really need to work is that you need to have the nozzle, whatever the nozzle is here, then the loading part right here to push up a BB. But other than that, those haven't broken or anything like that, so they're fine. But these parts need to be replaced at like $50 a piece, which, and I tried RA Tech replacements, and they take some modifications. I like to make it simple, drop-ins to make it work only. But these parts, expect them to wear out after about 500-600 rounds, which sucks. The bolt so far, the bolt face, which is actually the nozzle right here I'm pulling out, that one, seems to be working okay. There might be some, it might break some of the bolt face, but again, it still functions perfectly fine. Just kind of annoying. Good thing it's in the back, so you can't really see it. But anyway, so we'll put this back in here. All right. I've also tried, I've seen another recommendation where they recommend you replace the the bolt stop right here with an RA Tech, this is the RA Tech one. I replaced it, and it didn't really have much of a difference on it, but again, for some reason it just worked at the end, so it worked out for me. But it was just really frustrating. Maybe I needed to break the gun in before it worked, but now it doesn't for a different reason. Anyway, moving on. You'll notice one thing that with this gun, after you firing it for a while, the stock tube actually kind of wobbles. Not wobbles, sorry. gets loose well. So you notice right here, it's kind of wobbling. And the reason why is because you need to make sure this castle nut right here is tight. Now, for the longest time, I didn't know this, but it came. Well, I knew it came with this this castle nut wrench right here. I just didn't know how to use it. But basically, you can basically just line it up right here, and you can actually just tighten it like so, and you can have, and that's the best way to do that. And now you have a well, I kind of did it messed up because now it's kind of slanted, but you just got to make sure you hold the stop straight while you're tightening. So maybe 2 people to do it might help. Anyway, I'll fix that later. The other problem I had with this is that the dust cover for at first didn't really stay closed, and part of the reason why is because the spring in there just was kind of weak. The tension wasn't very strong. So in order to fix that, it's a quick fix. All you gotta do is, it actually comes with an Allen wrench in this packet right here. I just never really opened it. I have my own set right here. But what you gotta do is, all you gotta do is just take the Allen wrench, poke a hole, or poke it down the hole right there, like that. And basically, you probably can't even see that, huh? But basically, yeah, you turn it and you do it again. Again, repeat the motion. You do it a couple times until it's nice and tight, and then you should be able to snap it on. And because before it just would just not hold. So that's something to do. If you want a more specific video, I can do it later on to help you all. But that's something that you'll notice with this. Again, still an issue. Anyway, other issues I've noticed. Let's see here. It fires just fine, I think, for the most part. Again, like besides the jamming issue we talked about earlier, whether it be the stock style magazine we talked about, cycle that. This is on semi, you know, it works fine. Occasionally, I notice that when you fire on semi, it will revert and fire 2 shots on auto by I don't know. It just does that. It's for something that's slipping. I don't know. I don't know if I can catch it on camera. I see on semi all the time. This is with green gas, or basically propane I'm using right now. Now it's on auto. So it kind of blows through pretty quickly. But again, it doesn't lock back because, again, the bolt's worn out. This is with the 30-round mag. Now this is interesting because I tried it with duster gas. This just has duster gas in it. And it just won't be as strong, obviously, but it does still fire, and it does still lock the bolt back when it was functional. So again, this is duster gas. Oops, I forgot about that. So you notice it still fires well. So pretty good. Oh, there's still something there. So I think it's solid. This is a really good piece. Let's see what else I can mention. Yeah, I think overall it's a very good gun. I don't know if it was worth the, I got this for a sale actually. Originally they go for about $300, $270, $300, which I think is actually ridiculous because I would be pretty pissed if you get a gun that doesn't work. I mean, it has a bolt catch that doesn't work reliably, and the parts get worn down. So I think you're gonna have to replace a lot of the parts here, or at least the bolts. But I got it for sale when it was like $217 shipped, so actually it was a steal. But I think WE, they're probably better at making their Glock, their G series, than they are with these gas blowbacks. I mean, they're not bad. They're gonna definitely have some problems here and there, but nothing too dramatic. I don't think it's to the point where it's a huge problem. Like I said, I have noticed some issues with jamming, like my Glocks for them from WE pretty much has never jammed. This has a lot of jams, and when they do jam, oh man, it's a problem. Because instead of what happens is because the bolt doesn't seat back fully because there's a BB that's smashed in there to pieces, right? So you can't just pop this pin out here in the rear, this rear pin back here, and open it because the bolt is still stuck in the stock tube. So you kind of have to pop out both pins and then take a stick or something, a brush, and just clean out the innards. So that's an issue. Be wary of that. Of course, things that I mentioned, like here, like the dust cover not closing all the time, or at least failing. I mean, that's not super reliable. Um, Other than that, let's see here. Is there anything else I want to mention? Parts compatibility. I have been having a lot of issues getting aftermarket parts to actually fit this without major modifications. I know it's possible, but for the most part, it is kind of difficult unless you know what you're doing. As far as just drop-in parts, I really want those, or maybe parts with minor modifications. I like to keep things very simple and easy, but that's just the nature of this. But overall, I would recommend this. I think it's a good piece. I've tested this back when I was living in Denver, and the air was a lot thinner up there, so the range is about maybe, I think effectively you can hit about up to 100 feet. Out here in Virginia, which I'm now in, it's a lot lower to sea level, closer to sea level. So I don't know. I'm getting about like 75. I'm guess and I'm talking about without like arcing it or anything like that. So that's something I've noticed for this gun right here. So, definitely would recommend it if you can get it for less than, if you can get it for less than 250. I think that's a good deal. And if it's 300, it's a little bit much, unless you're really going after the Vietnam era style guns. I love this look. I especially love the old school stock M4 style stock. I'm not a huge fan of the LE stocks that they have now on the M4s, and that's why I really wanted this one. But for the most part, everything else is the same as the WM4, so you can get parts for it that way. But other than that, let me know if there's anything else that you guys want to know about this. This, for the most part, was just a review on the things that I thought were highlights that just haven't really been mentioned in reviews in the past. So that was just something I wanted to focus on. Let's see here. All right. Well, folks, that's it for today. Let me know if there's anything else you want to cover. Thanks.